The knight inside Fort Titan is thin and sharp as old teeth, stretched taut over the caravan's uneasy stillness. In Maximus's tent the silence waits, heavy, expectant. Only the wind disturbs the canvas, carrying with it the scent of old grudges. Here every shadow feels watched. Every torchlight is a warning. Tonight, a new shadow crosses the threshold, a shape familiar to those who remember the last time Necrotia sent its wolves hunting. The canvas parts without a sound. Maximus does not rise. His eyes narrow, cane resting across his knees. Borus enters, tall and deliberate, gloved hands folded. His face is barely a face at all beneath the hood, just the suggestion of bone and the patient burn of crimson eyes. He does not ask to be invited. Maximus, you keep your tent warmer than your reputation, though I see you haven't improved your taste in decor. I could say the same for your company, Borus. But then your arrival always meant someone else sent you to do the talking. Old habits. Your father sends his regards. He worries, you know, about the company you keep, about what you let inside these walls. If he's so curious, he's welcome to walk through the mud himself. Or is he too busy counting his knives? Necrotia does not thrive on mud, but on information. And you, well, you've never been especially subtle about either your allies or your debts. At least I pay mine. What brings you crawling out from under Volkov's wing? Afraid you'll miss the gossip? Or is it something heavier? Gold? Blood? Or just the stench of treason you think you smell? I find the scent of desperation lingers longer than treason. But it's not desperation I smell here. It's secrets, old and new. I hear you've acquired a dancer. Quiet one. Not from these parts? That's bold. Even for you. If you've come to threaten her, Borus, try a little harder. A caravan is not Necrotia. I bite back. Oh, Maximus, threats are so common. I prefer to speak plainly. Aleta, is it? Interesting how easily some names slip through locked doors. Even more interesting how some doors open themselves when the right ears are listening. Ears like yours, you mean? or my father's?
We share everything, your father and I, particularly our concerns, particularly about guests who know more than they should. It is dangerous harboring knowledge that doesn't belong to you.
Dangerous, yes. For those who think they can claim it.
So fierce, always so quick to brandish your loyalty. Tell me, is it loyalty or something softer? Or perhaps you simply enjoy playing the hero, even now so far from your father's leash.
I have nothing to prove to you, or Lord Volkov.
No, you never did like being measured, but others do. That's the trouble with these caravans, Maximus. So many souls, so many secrets, all crowded in the dark. Some are bound to slip free sooner or later.
You came all this way to warn me about leaks. Or did my father hope you'd rattle the cages and see which birds sing?
Ah, sometimes it's the song that matters. Sometimes it is the silence that worries us more.
Then you haven't been listening closely enough.
On the contrary, I hear plenty. Enough to know your little dancer carries the kind of story that could shatter more than just your father's patience.
Say her name again, and you'll find out what patience I have left.
Touching, but idle threats don't suit you. You know how this works, Maximus. You can protect her only as long as you can protect everyone. And your father has never been fond of unfinished business.
Tell him if he wants business settled, he should come and settle it himself.
That would be unfortunate for everyone. What are you so afraid of, Maximus? That she'll betray you? Or that you'll fail her the way you failed others?
Careful, Borus.
Or what? You can't touch me, and you can't stop what's coming. The best you can do is choose what burns first. Your pride, or your people.
If you lay a finger on anyone in this camp, on her, I will make you regret stepping into the light.
Regret is for mortals. I am simply patient, and patient men always get what they're owed. Eventually.
I don't owe you a damn thing.
You owe Volkov. We all do in the end. Just remember, sometimes the wolves come to the gate, and sometimes they're already inside.
A long pause. Neither yields. The canvas walls press in. In the hush between them, every unspoken threat quivers, waiting to break. The silence draws out, a taut wire between them, neither willing to blink. You talk about patience. You talk about debts. But you're here alone, Borus. No Crimson Guard, no throne behind you. Just you and your borrowed authority. In my tent.
Is it your tent? Or just your father's shadow, painted in blue velvet and steam? Places like this, they belong to whoever survives the longest, not whoever roars the loudest.
You mistake volume for warning. If you want a demonstration, step outside the circle of firelight and see who's left standing when the wolves are done.
If I wanted violence, Maximus, I would have brought someone with less self-control. No. Tonight, I'm only interested in the stories your guests keep hiding. Especially the ones that don't belong here.
She's under my protection. If you or Volkov send another watcher, another whisper, I'll send them back in pieces.
That's an interesting promise. But you forget, some of us do not come apart so easily.
Maybe you just haven't met the right knife.
So quick with threats, it's almost charming. You always were your father's son in that regards. Blunt, direct, full of thunder and lightning. But so easily baited.
You think this is bait? Try me, Borus. Push just a little further and see what happens when I stop playing host.
Oh, I've no doubt you'd be spectacular in your rage. But do remember, some of us are watching more than just you. You forget how many eyes your father has, even here, in the dust and sawdust. Every secret you shelter has a cost, and some debts are paid in flesh.
If you so much as look at her again, even let her name cross your tongue, I'll teach you fear, Borus. Not the kind your spies trade in, but the kind you taste in your bones.
I've I've tasted fear before, Maximus. I assure you, it's overrated. But if you wish to bare your fangs, do so. Just know who you are biting.
You walk into my camp. You speak her name. You threaten what's mine. And you think you're untouchable.
No, I know I am. You, on the other hand, are all sharp edges and open wounds.
That's more than you'll ever have.
Perhaps. But scars do not frighten me, Maximus. Neither does rage. It only shows me how much you have left to lose.
And you're so certain you have nothing left to lose?
I learned to give up my weaknesses centuries before you were teaching thieves to juggle. What I value cannot be threatened. But you are surrounded by things you love, whether you admit it or not. And that is why you'll always be vulnerable.
You mistake caution for weakness, Borus.
No, Maximus. I mistake nothing.
Good. Then you know exactly what you're risking.
Then we understand each other. Lord Volkov does not want a war, Maximus. Not here. Not yet. But you should know this. He already knows everything he needs. The girl, her secrets, your part in them. And as for protection, even wolves at the gate sometimes slip through the cracks. I will tell him you remain vigilant.
You do that. Whatever message you drag back to my father, carry this with it. If he wants to test how far I'll go, let him. But if either of you lay so much as a shadow on her, you'll find out just how much of your old world I'm willing to burn. And remind him I've never needed his permission to fight for what's mine. This camp, this caravan, every soul beneath this canvas, they're under my watch, not his. If he wants a war, he'll find out who survives the longest. And if you ever send another shadow to my door, Borus, don't expect it to walk back. Borus lets the words hang, studying Maximus with that infuriating, inscrutable calm. Then, with a small, precise inclination of his head, a gesture neither subservient or dismissive, he turns to go. At the threshold, Borus pauses, his silhouette sharp against the lamplight. Perhaps one day you'll realize, Maximus, that the most dangerous threats are the ones you invite inside. He slips out, the canvas falling silent behind him. Maximus stands alone knuckles white on his cane, breath tight in his chest. Let them come. They'll find out I'm not so easily bled. Outside, the wind shivers along the tents, and firelight flickers restless on the stone walls of Fort Titan. Within Maximus's tent, the air is thick with old grudges, and the promise of storms yet to break. The wolves have tested the gate, and found it guarded. But in the world of secrets, nothing stays safe for long. Tonight, only one thing is certain. The game has changed, and every shadow knows it. The night is a strangled hush, thick with old anger and the aftertaste of Borus's visit. But the shadows don't settle long. Rafiq arrives like cold wind under the canvas, all smooth edges and poisoned smiles. Maximus stiffens, recognizing a threat he can neither cow or expel. Rafiq steps inside, a flicker of lamp oil catching on his rings, his grin impossibly at ease.
Well. Is this a private wake, or do I have to bring my own corpse?
You. Corpses. I thought you preferred your meat warm. Or have you lost your appetite since the last one slipped away?
You always did have a sharp tongue, Maximus, but you keep your secrets badly. There's a new scent on the wind tonight, something delicate, rare for these parts.
You must be confused, Rafiq. The only thing delicate in this tent is your ego, and I'd sooner snap that than let you sniff after what's not yours.
Now, I only appreciate fine additions. You run such a eclectic establishment. A shame to hide the best of your collection away from the connoisseurs.
Collectors get their fingers snapped in these parts. You of all people should remember how quickly things break when they touch what they don't understand.
Things break, and sometimes they mend in ways you don't expect. Some things just want a chance to breathe, Maximus. Even birds in gilded cages.
If you're looking to play savior, you'll have to find a different cage. You know how I deal with trespassers. Or do you need another reminder of what happened the last time one of my folk caught your eye?
Arabella, always so spirited. I do miss those days. The chase, the discovery. She made something of herself under your leash. Impressive, even by your standards.
You always liked a challenge. She's more steel than silk now, thanks to you. But you left out the best part. How she learned pain is the price for trusting the wrong shadow. Not everyone can stomach what the guild demands. You taught her that lesson, if nothing else.
She's resilient. That's rare. And loyal too. Though not always to the right cause.
Oh, she's loyal, all right. The kind of loyalty you can only buy with blood and broken pride. She learned who our master was. That's why she's still here, and why you're not.
I suppose that's what passes for gratitude in your caravan. Still, I wonder when the time comes, will she bend for you, or just break for someone else?
You're obsessed with broken things, aren't you? But let's be clear, she's not yours. Not now, not ever. And if you so much as breathe wrong in the direction of another, you'll wish I'd only used the rack.
So much passion, Maximus. You really do love your lost causes. But you can't watch everyone all the time. Sometimes things slip through your fingers. Sometimes the ones you protect end up craving danger more than safety.
If you're hoping for a repeat, you'll be disappointed. The rules have changed. Some are off limits. Some I'll see to myself. But you are only as untouchable as Corvus lets you be. And one day, your luck will run out.
And then what? Will you turn me over, Maximus? After all our history? After all the secrets we've shared? Careful. Loyalty is a chain. Sometimes it chafes. Sometimes it snaps.
Let me worry about my chains. You worry about your skin.
You can try to keep your precious things locked away, but cages breed resentment, even among your own. Arabella's proof of that. And as for the newest of your treasures, well, she's quite the enigma. Would be a shame if she learnt the wrong lesson, don't you think?
Try me, Rafiq. I swear, if you cross that line, I'll let Corvus finish what I started. And this time, there won't be any coming back. Their eyes lock. Rafiq's smile never slips. Maximus is taut as drawn wire. Fury and protectiveness barely kept in check. Between them, the shadows grow thick and restless. In this camp, loyalty is currency, and betrayal a slow-burning fuse. Tonight, two predators circle the same secret, and only the dawn will decide who leaves the tent unscathed. The silence between them stretches, vicious, uneasy. Rafiq's gaze flickers to the maps, the scrolls, the half-burnt candle stubs atop Maximus's battered desk.
Ambition's an old friend of yours, isn't it? These maps, you're plotting again. I'd almost say you've grown sentimental, chasing ghosts and crowns in the sand.
Spare me your poetry. I don't need you reciting riddles in my tent. But I suppose a scavenger always knows where to find the scraps. You're still sniffing at old bones, Rafiq. Or have you finally learned how to steal something that isn't already broken?
The crown, Maximus. You're obsessed. Tell me, do you really think the Tyrant's prize is waiting for you at the end of some dusty trail? Or are you just hoping to impress your father with another bedtime story?
You wouldn't know a prize if it slit your throat whilst you slept. The crown isn't a relic for thieves and jackals. It's for kings and the men who put them on the throne. That's something you never understand, Rafiq. Your kind crawls for gold, while the rest of us shape history.
History's a fickle mistress. She tends to forget the names of those who try too hard. But you, always reaching, always loyal. Even now, still desperate to earn Volkov's pat on the head. I hear you've been asking questions in Cordavia, Garrulus, and even Taros. That's a lot of ground for one crown. Sure you're not just running from your own shadow?
I don't run. Not from you. Not from the ghost of old kings. And certainly not from the likes of Cordavia's dusty scribblers or Garrulos's painted fools. Every city in this damn realm has a piece of what I want, what I will claim, and when I have it, when the crown of the Tyrant King sits in my hands, I'll put it where it belongs, at Volkov's feet. Or perhaps I'll place it on a worthier head, if the opportunity rises.
So noble. Is that what you told the scholars in Cordavia before you emptied their vaults? Or did you sing the old song in Port Cole, hoping the dancers would whisper secrets between the veils? You always did like a stage, Maximus, but thrones are heavy things. You sure your back's up for it?
Oh, I'm not the one bending over backwards for a handful of coins and cheap gossip. Let me guess. Garrulos's jewelers expelled you when they caught you pocketing trinkets. Or did you try your hand in Port Allen, along with the rats and filth where you belong? The only thing you've ever ruled is the gutter, Rafiq.
Sometimes the gutter is where the best secrets flow. But you, chasing crowns, chasing ghosts, thinking power's something you can dig up from the bones of tyrants. What will you do, Maximus, if you find it? Bow and scrape for Volkov? Or simply admit you want the world to kneel to you?
Oi, don't kneel. Not for Volkov. Not for you. Not for any corpse king that crawls from the grave. The vampires will march again, yes, but under my father's banner, or mine, as the world demands. And when the Tyrant King rises, it will be because I chose it, because I am the architect of what comes next. Not a worm like you, hiding in the shadows, licking scraps from my table.
You're so certain that the crown will obey, that anything will obey. History remembers monsters and martyrs, Maximus. Which are you planning to be?
I'll let history decide that. After I've written it in blood. And if you're still breathing by then, maybe I'll let you watch. The silence between them is sharp, tension snapping like wire between fangs. Maximus's contempt is volcanic, his ambition undimmed. Rafiq's smile is a knife, but he steps back, his eyes never leaving Maximus's. The tent feels smaller now. Too many plans, too many enemies. Maps of cities, roads, and ruined kingdoms lie between the two men like a battlefield waiting for blood. The crown remains lost, the Tyrant King's shadow growing longer. And as the night deepens, only one truth is certain. When power is up for grabs, trust dies first. And loyalty, if it lives at all, wears fangs. Enough. I've tolerated your stench in my tent long enough, Rafiq. Take your games and your wandering hands elsewhere. The Caravan isn't a brothel, and not running a charity for gutter crawlers. You want secrets? Try the alleys in Port Allen. You want coin? Go beg from the fools in Garros. But step too close to what's mine again, and you'll find out just how deep the sand can bury a man.
So dramatic, Maximus. You'd almost make a good king yourself, if only you could keep your temper. But don't worry, I know when the house is closing. Enjoy your night, for as long as it lasts.
Don't let the firelight burn your shadow on the way out. And remember, I never give second warnings. Rafiq's smile is a cut in the lamplight, untroubled, almost amused. He turns, his coat swirling, and slips into the darkness beyond the tent. The air is colder for his absence, but the sense of danger lingers, like a scent that won't wash out. The tent is silent, save for the distant laughter of the caravan and the restless flicker of the torchlight. Maximus stands alone, but the threats left behind by Borus and Rafiq stain the air like old blood. There are some enemies you can chase away with words, some you can defeat with steel, but there are others. The ones who wear a smile as a mask, who return again and again, waiting for the perfect moment to slip the knife. Tonight, Maximus has claimed the last word. Tomorrow the shadows may be back. The night lingers thick with unshed storms. Maximus has sent one viper crawling back into the dark, but the taste of poison still lingers in the air. And as the embers settle, another shadow steps through the canvas, a shadow clad in bronze and iron, helm glinting, every movement the promise of violence held in check. Paldrok stands at the threshold, armoured as if for battle. His presence is a silent question. Trouble? But the answer this time is opportunity. Paldrok steps inside, eyes scanning for threats. But Rafiq is gone. Maximus, cane still in hand, turns towards him with a wry, exhausted smile.
I see the rat has already scurried. I half hoped I'd find him here. Make things simple.
Nothing's simple about Rafiq, except the pleasure of watching him leave.
Then you'll want to hear this. Something to cheer you up even more. A bird from Trident landed at dawn. Our agent writes in cipher, urgent. Something's moving beneath the forges. Something even Rafiq's little web can't touch.
Troigan, you say? And here I thought Rafiq's silence was just forgetfulness. But even rats know when not to gnaw at steel.
He never spoke the city's name? Not once? Whatever's stirring there, it's drawn the eyes of more than just our kind. The message spoke of shipments unmarked, routed through the lower tunnels, smuggled out beneath the smithies.
Troigan plays at independence, but they sell to the highest bidder like everyone else. Still, even the dwarves know how to keep their heads down when the monarchy's dogs are sniffing around.
It's not just the monarchy this time. Something older. The forges are burning hotter than usual, and the council refuses visitors. Our contact believes there's a relic moving, a piece of the old world. Could be nothing. Could be exactly what you're searching for.
Troigan, Garalos, Port Nightsong. Each a link in the same chain. With the caravan now resident here at Fort Titan, holding the border distracted, I can ride where I please. A week to Troigan, with a stop in Garalos. Perhaps pay Petrovich a visit. Remind him how debts are settled.
You believe the crown is in Trident?
No, not the crown. but something connected. The real prize will come ashore in Port Nightsong, if Tellers isn't completely mad. But Trigon's holding something that belongs to me.
And what if it's another dead end?
Then the dwarves lose a little more autonomy, and I gain a lesson in patience. But if I'm right, when the crown of the Tyrant King rises, it will be because I bent every city to my will. Dwarves, monarchy, all of them. I'll lay it at Volkov's feet, or wear it myself, if the old bastard falters. But first, have our spies in Garalos watch Petrovich's house. If he so much as flinches, I want to know. And send word ahead to Port Nightsong. Whatever comes in that crate, it's not to be touched until I arrive.
You want the horses saddled by dawn?
No. First light will do. We'll ride for Garalos and deal with Petrovich as intended. Plus, there's someone else I want to see before we get close to Trigon. Gideon. The only man in this rotten province who can outstubborn a boulder, and the only one who knows better than to lie to my face.
Your favourite bench, then?
Exactly. He'll be at the old square near his shop. If he's not, the bench will be warm, and I'll know where to find him. Funny thing, Gideon's one of the few souls I actually trust. Not because he's loyal, because he's honest. A rare quality. Priceless.
He won't run?
Gideon doesn't run. He sits, he waits, he listens. And if there is news out of Trigon or whispers from the monarchy, he'll have it first. Besides, he knows I'm coming. The bench always does the talking.
Then Garalos before Trigon?
Yes. Once I've seen Gideon, we ride for Trigon. And tell the scouts, no one touches that crate in Port Nightsong if it arrives before I do. Not until I give the word. However, I hope it will arrive once I am back in the port city, not before. Paldrok gives a sharp nod, and Maximus turns, gaze distant, as if he sees the map of the world unfolding before him. Every city, every secret, every prize waiting to be claimed. Paldrok turns to leave, steel boots heavy on the ground. Maximus lingers, eyes tracing the map. Then glancing to a warm spot on the edge of his desk, a bench in Garalos, clear in his memory. Maximus measures the night not in hours, but in distances and debts owed. The path through Garalos and on to Trigon is set, marked by old alliances and older grudges. At the heart of it, a rare friendship, one that reminds even the hardest men why trust is worth the risk. And the game moves forward, pieces shifting, secrets whispering in the dark. And Maximus? He is already thinking 2 moves ahead, where the bench waits, and the future is forged one truth at a time. The future twists on a knife edge. Trigon's forges burn. Port Nightsong waits for cargo that hums with memory and menace. And Garalos's debts call out to be collected. For Maximus, the world is a game, and tonight, The next move is his. In the land of desert where the sand is gold, I'm Maximus the master with a story to unfold. I got steampunk attire, I'm the man of the hour. With a blue tweed suit I embody the power. Top hat, goggles and a red beard that shines. Show man supreme, my skill is divine. In the desert realm where the sun sets ablaze, I lead the caravan, set the standards and the maze. I'm the maestro, the chief, the one in command. With a white shirt crisp, my presence is grand. Every deal I make, every showing I lead, I'm the best in the game with unmatched speed. Arrogance, sure, it's a part of my flair. Popularity's a myth, success is my air. In the markets and courts, my name is on the rise. You can fear me if you want, plus I see through your lies. Caravans flourish under my reign supreme. In this desert expanse, I live in the dream. My enterprise glows with a luminous sheen. Maximus commands, and the results are seen. They whisper, they chat about my lofty pride, but when they need the best, they seek me as a guide. My red hair flames with ambition and might. In the desert of dreams, I am the light. Now reaching the end, my legacy stays. Maximus the master in a million ways. The monarchy is my stage to control. Every step that I take, I'm reaching my goal. With my caravan bound for horizons so wide, I'm the best in the business and I never hide. A pain in the neck, that's a badge I wear proud. For I'm Maximus the king and I stand out in the crowd. So remember my name as the caravan rolls. Maximus the legend with stories untold. In the desert realm where my empire unfurled, I'm the master of showman, the king of this world. The journey may end, but my mark will remain. Maximus forever in glory and fame. A showman unmatched in every domain. I'm the best, and my reign will sustain.